So, good evening, everyone. I'm in a better mood tonight, I'll say. I guess I'm a candy channel right now. Candy Grand Prix, that is. It is, December 3rd? Get down. Get down. I say December 3rd because if I mention what she does in her streams, I want y'all to be able to go and see what I saw. Now, her screwing with the homeless man that was sleeping behind her bench, which, by the way, I think there's like 3 or 4 people in that park. None of them really own that spot, but only Candy really doesn't understand that. Now, there are established spots, yes, but they're not owned, and these men, they could move at any time if they needed to. And for Candy, they don't need to. She's nobody. But her being belligerent to them, saying they should move and she doesn't have anywhere to go. Candy, I'm gonna talk to you again. Anybody can hear it, but I'm gonna talk to you again. Here are places that you could take your ass and sit and maybe even sleep. Because I've never been homeless, but I have seen homeless people just snoring in some of these places. Now, here's a list. There's covered bus stops. That is a roof over your head and a few walls. Bless me. Good God. Covered bus stop. Under a tree, which I've seen a couple times. I guess it's comfortable. I don't know why you're so angry about bridges, but they're viable places underneath bridges. And truthfully, it's where I would go. Were I in your situation, is under bridges or in those drainage tunnels. People know what I'm talking about. Those, like, concrete tubes where water goes. Men can go in there. You can fit a human in there. Some of them get big enough where you can walk in. Go in those. They're not always wet. You're always rooming with spiders, but, you know, get over it. Sometimes you have to accept that your bed won't always be the cleanest because of your homelessness. Where else? If you had a brain in your head, which I don't think you do, you could make a shelter out of branches and logs, make an A-frame, weave a door. Excuse me. Oh, I'm leaned over. That's dangerous. Okay, but yeah, I think if given only an option or two, living in the woods, hermit style, is very viable. Again, I know nothing about the area you live in, and I don't care. But again, I know they have trees. So use them. Bless me. God damn. Where else? Where else? You could buy a tent, like I've said before. Buy a tent, and then you're good. You're Gucci. You could... If you didn't ask if you could stay in a business all night, you could probably stay longer than 30 minutes. But I think it's because you ask, oh, can I stay in here all night if I buy something? That sets off alarm bells in people's heads to, you need to get out as soon as possible. Because you're a grifter, you're a freeloader. So if you don't set off alarm bells, if you, keep your mouth shut. My back was starting to hurt. I got lower. You could probably stay at IHOP an hour or two if you were just quiet and cordial. Eat your short stack, eat your whatever the hell you want to buy. Where else? Where else? And this is where my head is. Where would I go if I was homeless? There are neighborhoods. I don't want you anywhere near people, and you don't want to be anywhere near people. But there are neighborhoods where homes, I'm not even going to say that. It can be done, but you shouldn't even have that option. You're a danger. I've given you some places. I've said enough places to work. Under a bridge is quite viable. Especially under ones that they have the gravel underneath, but then there's a slope going up. I've been under bridges and seen people's little setup because there's room to sleep up there under the arch. So that's all I'm going to say about places to sleep, I think. Those are truthfully the most legal. I mean, it's not really legal to sleep outside anywhere. Police can always tell you to move on, or worst case, maybe best case, arrest you for vagrancy, and then you can sleep in a building. That's all I'm gonna say about that. The only other thing I think I'm gonna say tonight is stop messing with homeless people. Stop messing with other homeless people. Because guaranteed, you are already seen as just a crazy lady. Homeless people have their own communities. I know nothing about them. I've never been that down low in life. But I know that they have them. I know that people talk. And especially the fit you had tonight about just a person existing behind you. Think of it as security. You're less likely to be attacked in a group. If you make friends, if people are able to like you, then they can say, oh, we need to protect Candy because she's off her meds and completely out of her mind, but she's still homeless, so we need to sleep by her so that she can sleep and not worry about being robbed or stabbed. But because you're such an angry human being, they don't think that way. They think you're a demon. They think you're a woman that's worth beating up so that you'll shut up, so that they can sleep. Because especially if they were there before you, if they follow any kind of rules, that means they were there before you. You should move on if you have a problem with that. Their bedding is already set up and all that. And it's, from another perspective, from, I guess, what you could call a more privileged perspective. I don't feel privileged, but compared to him, I might be. From another perspective, it's just rude. You know, the man you're yelling at has nothing. He doesn't need to be berated and harassed and yelled at for just existing by anybody. At most, give him a little support. At least, just shut up and leave him alone. He's got more to worry about than you yelling at him at midnight. You know, you're just a bad person. To everybody that you meet. Last one, I promise. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say. I just had a big problem with that. I didn't have a problem with anything else she said. It was just the same. She was just repeating what she always says. But that's dangerous. That's dangerous territory. Is messing with other homeless people. Because you don't know. You don't know what people are going through. And look at me. I have a problem with empathy. But you, Candy, you're making me empathetic. You're making me look at stuff from other people's perspective. And from your perspective, from your perspective, it's insane. So I don't look there often. I look there and I say, she needs to be checked. She needs to be looked at. While I was watching, I said, it's incredible. She's the villain of her own story. She's the main character, but she's the evil witch. The Wicked Witch of the West. That's all I'm going to say. That's all. I wanted to try to fit all I had to say into a short, but I need more than 15 seconds. I talk more slowly than I probably should. Adios, y'all. Oh, we'll talk. We'll talk. We'll talk, I'm sure. Adios. Have a good night.